When we come to the fifth exercise, we learn how to produce a feeling of joy. Because a practitioner can always produce a feeling of joy, a feeling of happiness. And how? The teaching is very clear. If you bring your mind home to your body by the way of mindful breathing or mindful walking, you are established in the here and the now. The present moment is the only moment when life is available. Real life is available. Because the past is no longer there. And the future has not come. So only the present moment, only in the present moment that life is available. That is why with the practitioner, every breath, every step should bring her back to the here and the now. And when you are in the here and the now, you are in touch with the wonders of life that are in you and around you. And getting in touch with them, you have the chance to nourish yourself, to heal yourself. You cannot get them from the past or from the future. You can get them only from the present moment. That is why the practitioner always go home to the here and the now. From the parking lot to where you work, you walk in such a way that every step helps you to release the tension in your body, help you touch the wonders of life in you and around you. And you walk in such a way that the kingdom of God is available to you with every step. How? With concentration, mindfulness, and insight. The insight that is that the kingdom is available in the here and the now. And then going home to the present moment, we recognize that we are very lucky. Compared with so many other people, we are much luckier. We have eyes still in good condition. We only need to open our eyes in order to see the blue mountains, the blue sky, the green mountains, and the beautiful river. There is a paradise of forms and colors available in the here and the now because you have eyes still in good condition. Breathing in, I know I'm aware of my eyes. Breathing out, I enjoy, I smile to my eyes, which are still in good conditions. I enjoy the kingdom, the paradise of forms and colors. So you have your eyes still in good conditions. You have one condition for happiness. And there are many thousands of conditions like that within you and around you. Breathing in, I know I'm aware of my heart. Mindfully, I breathe in and I get the insight that, my heart still functions normally. It's wonderful to have a heart, a normal heart like that. Because some of us do not have a heart like that. And our deepest desire is to have just a normal heart like other people. So when you touch your heart in good condition, your heart that still functions normally, you touch another condition of happiness. There are so many conditions of happiness in you and around you, more than enough for you to be happy, to be joyful in the here and the now. And that is why to produce a feeling of joy is always possible for a good practitioner. And to produce a feeling of happiness is always possible for a good practitioner. And we have to nourish ourselves by generating the energy of joy and happiness. And that is the object of the fifth and sixth exercise. The fifth is generating joy. The sixth is generating happiness. In the Buddhist literature, there is a distinction between joy, hei, and happiness. And we usually use the image of someone who walks in a desert and who is very thirsty, and suddenly he recognizes that in front of him there is an oasis with trees, shade, and a lake. So he needs to walk for 10, 15 more minutes to arrive, so he is joyful. He's joyful because he will have a cool place to be in, he will have water to drink, and that is joy. And when he actually arrives and kneel down and cup the water and drink, that is happiness. In joy, there is still some excitement. But in peace, in happiness, there is more peace. That is the understanding of joy and happiness in Buddhism. And a good practitioner is capable of generating a feeling of joy, a feeling of happiness for herself, and help the other person to do the same. Darling, don't you know that we are very lucky? We have a lot of conditions of happiness. We don't have to run into the future to be happy. Recognizing the conditions of happiness that are already enough, more than enough, and then you can create joy and happiness at any time. And with the seventh exercise, we begin to take care of our pain. Breathing in, I know there is a painful feeling in me. We know how to create joy and happiness, but we know also how to take care of our pain. So the first exercise is to be aware of the pain. When the painful feeling begins to come up, you do not try to run away from it. You do not try to cover it up with consumption, with music, with books, magazines, conversations, with food. Instead, we have to go home and take care of it. And the first thing is to recognize it. Good afternoon. My pain, I know you are there. I will take good care of you. And you are not afraid of being overwhelmed by the pain inside, because you are equipped with the energy of mindfulness. Because a good practitioner knows how to mop the floor mindfully, cook the breakfast mindfully, and that is why he has enough of that energy to help him go back to himself without fear. And the first thing is to recognize the pain. The second thing is to calm it down. Embrace it and calm it down. Whether that is a painful feeling or a painful emotion, the practitioner always go home to himself, recognize it, and with the energy of mindfulness, embrace it tenderly, like a mother holding a baby. There is no intention to fight or to suppress, because you are your mindfulness, but you are also your pain. We should not transform ourselves into a battlefield. The good fighting the evil, that's not the practice. So not running away from the pain, trying to come back with mindfulness, recognize it as it is, and begin to embrace it tenderly. In Buddhist psychology, we speak of consciousness in terms of store and mind. Down here, there is a seed of despair, a seed of fear, a seed of anger. And when the seed of fear or anger is touched, somebody come and say something or does something and touch off the seed of anger down here, and it manifests up here as a kind of energy. It's called a mental formation. Mental formation. Anger, fear, despair, irritation, jealousy, they are all mental formations. And then when one of them manifests here, we should know how to handle. And the way to handle is to invite another kind of energy from down here to come, to help. And we have a seed of mindfulness down here. And for practitioners, because they have been practicing mindfulness, the seed of mindfulness in them is quite robust, quite strong. And that's why in the case they need, they can easily invite the energy of mindfulness to manifest. So manifest will, with mindful breathing or walking, you invite the seed of mindfulness to manifest up on the level of mind consciousness. And that is the second kind of energy generated here, mindfulness. If this is a fear, and then mindfulness is mindfulness of fear. If this is anger, and then this is mindfulness of anger, because mindfulness is always mindfulness of something. And the first thing mindfulness does is to recognize the energy of pain. And the second thing it does is to embrace. One energy embracing another one. There's an encounter between two kinds of energies. It's like when it's very hot, you turn on the AC and produce cool air. And the cool air does not try to fight the hot air in the room, but trying to embrace. And later on, the hot air become cooler. So this is exactly the way we do. Mindfulness is holding the pain tenderly, and you continue to do that until the fear, the anger, the pain lose of its strength, and you get a relief. You feel better after a few minutes of holding, using the energy of mindfulness to hold the energy of anger or fear. And in Plum Village, we like to use the image of a mother holding her baby. The mother does not know yet what is wrong with the baby, but the fact that she is holding the baby tenderly can help the baby suffer less right away. The energy of tenderness of the mother begins to penetrate into the body of the baby. So the practitioner, while holding her pain, her sorrow, can begin to get a relief, because the energy of mindfulness begins to penetrate into the other zone of energy, the energy of fear or anger. And you get a relief, and after that, the energy of anger or fear will go back to its place of origin down here. After having lost some of its energy. It's like giving your fear, your anger, a mindfulness bath with non-violence. And you know that you say that next time when your fear, your anger come up, you do the same. You offer it a bath of mindfulness. It will lose some more of its strength. And that is the exercise, calming the pain, reducing the pain. And there will be other exercise that come later in the Sutra of Mindful Breathing to help you to completely transform the afflictions. But with the 8, with the 8 exercise, you can already reduce the pain, bring in a relief. So the practitioner know the art of happiness. The practitioner knows how to produce the energy of joy and happiness. And the practitioner also knows how to handle the pain in himself or herself. The pain can be a physical pain or a mental pain. And mindfulness helps us to recognize the pain. And our practice is not to exaggerate, because to meditate is to look deeply and to recognize things as they are. The Buddha spoke about the second arrow. When we learn the art of taking care of the pain, handle the pain inside, we should know the teaching about the second arrow. When someone gets an arrow, there is the pain in his body. But if a second arrow comes and hit exactly at the same spot, and then the pain is not only double, it can be 10 times stronger. So when you have a painful feeling, whether that painful feeling comes from the body or come from your perception, you should recognize it as it is and not exaggerate. You should not amplify the pain with your fear or anger or imagination, wrong perceptions. Because the fear, the anger, make the pain in you multiply by 10 times at least. You imagine that you are going to die very soon. You imagine that you cannot stand that kind of fear and anger. Maybe you will die. So that is the kind of amplification that we should avoid. The second arrow. If it is a minor physical pain, we know that it is only a minor physical pain. If it is an anger, if it is a feeling of anger born from some wrong perception, we should know that it is a feeling of anger born from some wrong perceptions. If it is a strong emotion, we should know that this is only an emotion. And you are much more than an emotion. When you are overwhelmed by a painful emotion, you think that you are only that emotion. But in fact, you are much more than an emotion. You are form, feeling, perceptions, mental formation, and consciousness. And the territory is large, and your emotion is just a small thing. And many people, especially young people, when they are overwhelmed by a strong emotion, they think that the only way to stop suffering is to go and kill themselves. They exaggerate too much. They are victim of the second arrow. So we should teach them that every time a strong emotion comes up, they have to breathe and get the insight that breathing in, I know this is only one emotion. An emotion is something that comes, stay for a while, and finally has to go like a storm. Why do we have to die because of an emotion? And that kind of insight is very crucial. And we parents, we have to practice. We have to see the emotion as only an emotion. And we have to learn how to handle that emotion. We are not afraid. And if we know how to handle the emotion, we will be able to help our children, the young people, to do the same. When the emotion comes, we should go back to our breathing. We should relax our body. We should get the insight that this is only an emotion, and I am capable of taking care of it by the practice of mindful breathing and embracing my emotion. And if I need, I will ask another friend or my mother or my brother or my sister to come and breathe and help me hold this emotion. And we can survive the emotion very easily because that emotion can only stay for a while and finally it has to go. So these are basic things, elementary things that we have to learn. And so many young people, they don't know how to do it. That is why they go and kill themselves. The second arrow, we have to know, don't exaggerate, don't amplify It's almost 12. There is a list of mental formations. I have asked the brothers to print for everyone. Maybe tomorrow everyone will have a copy. And there are 5 mental formations that are always there. And we should know how to handle them. The first one is contact. Chưa có. Xúc. Attention. Tác ý. Feeling. Perception. Tưởng. Volition. Từ. And they are called the 5 universals because they are always there. There's a list of 51 here. And when I was a novice monk, I had to memorize all of them. And every time one mental formation show up, I had to recognize it and call it by its true name. Because the practitioner should know the name of each mental formation and how to handle it. And that is why the nine exercise on mindful breathing is to be aware of each mental formation when it is arise. The mind is like a river, and every drop of water in the river is a mental formation. Mind is made of mental formations. and they always come and goes, born and die, always flowing like a river. So to meditate is to sit on the bank of the river and recognize the mental formation that comes and goes, and learn how to handle them. And these are the five, the first five called universal. Attention can come first, or contact may come first. Suppose you hear the sound of the bell. And if you are used to the practice of the bell of mindfulness, you tend to pay attention to the sound of the bell rather than other sounds that happen at the same time. Because the sound of the bell is the object of attention that is conducive to peace, tranquility, and so on. Because when you pay attention to the sound of the bell, you stop your thinking. You begin to breathe in gently and you enjoy breathing in. So the Buddha practitioner select the object of attention that can lead him or her to peace, to joy, to happiness, to freedom. And that attention is called appropriate attention. Yoniso Manaskara. Manaskara is attention. And in Chinese, we call it Như Lý Tác Ý. And when you pay attention to the objects that can lead you to anger, fear, craving, and then that is called inappropriate attention. Phi như lý tác ý. Suppose you go to the internet and there are objects of your attention and you can be led to a place where you lose your calm, you lose your happiness. You are subject to craving, to anger, to fear. And that is inappropriate attention. So a good practitioner always practice appropriate attention, như lý tác ý. And if you are to build a practice center, and then everything you create should have the power to lead you to appropriate attention. Everything that you hear, you see, you touch has the role to lead you to the good direction. So with attention, you may get a contact. Contact is contact between the sense organs and the object. It's like your eyes and what you see, the sound and your ears, your body and the touch. So attention may come first, or contact may come first, and then draw your attention. And they are very quick, in 1 millisecond only or less. And contact and attention bring about a feeling, a pleasant feeling or a painful feeling. And if it is a pleasant feeling, you have the tendency to run into that direction. And you may get a lot of suffering later on. If it is a painful feeling, like anger or fear, that will lead you to a perception that the other person is trying to make you suffer. And if you have that perception, you will have the intention to act, to want to say something in order to punish him or her, or to do something to punish him or her. So anger leads to the action of punishing. And if it is a wrong perception, it will lead to the kind of volition that will create a suffering. And each of us has the usual way, the habitual way of reacting. And it comes very quick, the five universal mental formations. And we have the habit energy of reacting in the same way. And we always react like that because it is already an usual path in our brain. There is a neural pathway that is already traced, and you just go and go by that way again and again. There is one person who reacted very much the same way when he hear that kind of sentence. He cannot control himself. Every time he hear that kind of expression, he will get angry and he will say something like that, and always like that. And after that, he was angry at himself. I did not want to react like that, but why I continue to react like that? Because there is a pathway that is already traced in his mind. So another friend said, next time you go to the meeting, I'm sit next to you. And every time I hear that kind of sentence, that kind of atmosphere, I should squeeze your hand. I will serve as your second body. And when you feel my squeeze and then you breathe in, you said, I have to re-examine my feeling. I have to examine my perceptions. So it means that you have to bring mindfulness to intervene with your feeling. Whether that is a painful feeling or a pleasant feeling, you don't let the feeling to carry you away because you are mindful. You are mindful of your feeling. And because you know you are mindful of your feeling, you know that where that feeling comes from. And you cannot deceive that kind of feeling. Because maybe you have a wrong perception, and that is why you have that kind of feeling. But if there is mindfulness and concentration intervening, and then you know the nature of that feeling, and you can correct your perception, and you don't go your way anymore. You go another way that lead to compassion, understanding, rather than anger and despair. So the practitioner with the practice of mindfulness and concentration is capable of inventing new pathways that will lead to compassion and happiness rather than anger and suffering. And that is why we said last night that happiness and peace are skills that we can train ourselves, like playing tennis or violin. We have to train ourselves to be happy, to be peaceful. And we do not let these five mental formations to do their usual way, because every one of us has patterns of behavior that lead us to anger, fear, suffering, punishment. And we don't want to go these pathways anymore. We want to have new pathways that lead to understanding and compassion. And a few days of practice can already change a lot. When we know how to make use of the three energies of mindfulness, concentration, and insight, and intervene into the feeling and perception and attention, we are capable of tracing new pathways that will lead to understanding, compassion, and happiness rather than fear, anger, and violence. And these three mental formations, mindfulness, concentration, and insight, are three mental formations among the five that is called particular. I think very soon the brothers will offer you the list of mental formation, and the five particulars are intention, determination, intention is dục, determination is thắng giải, and mindfulness, concentration, and insight. So we have the three universal and there's five universal and the five particulars. And in this list we have it written in Chinese, in Sanskrit, and in French also. We continue tomorrow.